swatches. I don't think that I want to, oh my god, there's so much glitter on my table. I don't think I want to get my makeup table dirty. This is the Cara Beauty palette. This is the Goddess Nim palette. I actually found it at Marshall's, which was so cool because I got it for about $13, and I think this palette just recently launched for about $20. It comes with a huge mirror and it says Goddess Nim, and then here are the shades. It would match with my table too. Oh, look at how good that looks. Maybe I will swatch it. I have my micellar water right here in a paper towel. Fortune, and this is a shimmery white with a little bit of silver in it. Divine, which is a matte white. And the one thing I notice about these Cara palettes, like the shades feel very buttery. I did a couple of swatches for that because it's like this matte white. Deception, I don't know, this is like a taupey shade. It's like a cream yellow beige, like a cream beige. Zeus is the next shade. It's kind of a little bit more of like a skin tone shade. It's definitely a beige. That would look so pretty over the lid for the fall on the lid. Lover, which is a shimmer, and this is definitely a more bronzier taupe shade. And then the final shade on that row is called Hubris. Wow, I've never seen an eyeshadow like this before. This has like olive tones in it, like light olive. Remorseless. That seems like a really bright matte white. Like it's even brighter than Divine. Let me just show you guys right quick how it looks in the palette. So this is Divine, and this is Remorseless, and Divine is definitely like a bright white and Remorseless is not, but swatched, Remorseless definitely looks brighter. Your Reflection, so it's definitely similar to this shade Lover that I swatched, but I feel like the tones, you can tell a little bit of a difference. Inescapable, I think that's Inescapable or something. That's another like olive type of tone. I've never had an olive tone. The only glitter shade in this palette, and when I tell you guys, this reflects green. Oh my god, it's called Pursue Me. Pretty. I'm not gonna do no more swatching because it's a glitter, and glitter is hard to remove. Which is different since it's more of a gray tone palette, but again it has these olive colors to it. So Vengeance, it's like a subtle, it's like a, has more of like a sheen to it. It's definitely like not a shimmer. You can use it as a shimmer on the lid, or you can use it as a matte in a crease because it has that type of sheen to it, which I don't know what kind of color that is. It's like a gray though. Admirer. Wow, that's really pretty. That's like a clay color. A really pretty clay. Ancient. It's like a really bright white. It's crazy because these creamy tone colors, they don't look white in the palette, or at least not bright, and they're swatching brighter on the skin. Dagger, which is a matte gray. Fall for You. It kind of has like a pink tone to it. You really wouldn't be able to tell unless you got up close. Beauty, which is the first shimmer silver. Remember, this one was like a white silver, like a white shimmer. Lure Me In, another type of charcoal shade, definitely similar to this one and this one. Power Trip. Wow, that's really, really pretty. It has like specks of glitter, but you really wouldn't be able to tell. Helen. So I'm just gonna go this way with it because I really don't feel like swatching it on a different arm. So we have Helen, which is a matte gray. Narcissus. That's not Narcissus, so that's not how you spell it. So I think that's Narcissus. I've never heard of that. It's called Goddess Nim, so it probably has something to do with the gods and stuff like that. That's probably where the name originated from. But it's like a deeper matte gray. Then we have Temptation, and Temptation is definitely a darker silver, almost like a dark gray black, but more, it has some silver running through it. You could definitely see that. Sanctuary, which seems to have, it's like a gray, but it has like a little bit of a purple type of undertone. I'm surprised that I'm doing this great telling you guys like the types of tones, because normally I'm stuck on that. Only Fair, which is another type of gray. It has more blue tones to it though, just a little bit of blue tones. I feel like they did good pairing mattes next to shimmers that could really work for them. I definitely think that they did really good laying this palette out. So then we have One Look, which is a matte gray, and it has more of a purple undertone. So it's similar to this shade right here, but definitely probably a little bit more gray, and that's a little bit more purple. All right, so now I'm on to the last row, and I'm running out of arm space, about to go run into my fake tattoo. Goddess. I noticed that the shimmery shades are shaking in the palette. Like if I turn this palette upside down, these shades will fall right out. But anyway, that has nothing to do with the palette. This is a shimmery gray, has a little bit more black to it. Revenge, which is a matte gray. I have Mythology. This is another matte gray, but has more purple tones to it, deeper than these type of matte gray purple tones. Good Fortune, which is definitely like a shimmery gray, probably has a little bit more purple in on that one. All right, I have two more mattes. Let's just go back this way right quick. Justice, a deep matte gray. Night Falls, really dark gray, almost black, but I definitely feel with something like that you would probably want to use a black base to get the black to pull out more out of a shade like this, because like I said, it does run really deep gray. Let me show you guys. So this is the shade. Looks black, but it's definitely like a really dark gray. All right, so this is how the palette looks. This is how my table looks, which it looks excellent. Like there was not a lot of fallout. There was actually no fallout, except for maybe the glitter had a little tiny bit of fallout, but not much. Most of it was still stuck on my hand. I pretty much ran through all of them, so we can get an idea of how the tones are. Either Only Fair or Temptation. Let's see, which shimmer was that? One of these. I would definitely love if one of these were switched out for a pressed silver glitter, because like I said, this is a green glitter. I would have loved if they would have had like a gray silver glitter in here, like a pressed glitter. I think switching out one of these shades, since they're so similar, I think that that's the only change that I would make to a palette like this, because otherwise, you guys see these swatches. I don't know what look I'm gonna create today, but I'm gonna do something. This angle is like terrible right now. Let me all right, I think that's good. I'm gonna start off with the e.l.f. Camel Concealer, the 16-hour one in the shade Medium Sand. I was gonna do a talk through today, but I got on the phone and I forgot all about the talk through, so I'm gonna have to do the rest of this video in a voiceover. I'm going to start off with the shade Divine and apply that to the brow bone. I always love a matte white as a brow bone highlight. It just makes it look so much smoother than using shimmer. I'm applying that with the BH Cosmetics flat brush from the Rose Gold set. I don't know the name of these brushes. I don't think they came with a name, so I'm just going to explain what they are. Next, I'm going to go into the shade called Dagger. It's a matte gray, and I'm going to use another BH Cosmetics Rose Gold brush, and I'm going to apply that into the crease, winging it out. I did apply tape off camera. This is what helps me get those winged out looks without having to just do a winged out look and then wipe it off with a paper towel or makeup remover wipe. I use tape and that helps me get that sharp edge, but I'm just going to apply it in a crease and wing it out from there, but make sure I blend it upwards. Next, I'm going in with the shade called Revenge. It's another matte gray, but it comes off just a little bit darker than the Dagger shade. So I'm going to apply that directly into the crease. The other shade went a little bit above, but this is going into the crease. I'm gonna kind of do like an ombre gray type of look where it fades from light to darkest. And I'm applying this with a small detail crease brush from Elf Cosmetics. I think this is from Elf Cosmetics. I haven't used these Elf brushes in a long time and they're so good. For the last shade in a crease, I'm going in with this matte dark gray in the shade Justice, and using this flat fluffy colour brush, I'm gonna apply that directly into the crease as well. It's gonna go a little bit below that shade, like probably right on it, because like I said, I wanted it to kind of fade ombre from lightest to darkest. So I'm going to blend that directly on the previous shade called Revenge and then just kind of blend it in. I'm going to cut the crease using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer again, and I'm going to do that trick where you apply the concealer on the lid and you look up and it helps you to find your crease. I noticed that this helps a lot because if I just apply it wherever, then the cut crease is not going to look right because it's going to hide the shades on the lid. I don't know, my crease is far up there, so it works for me. And I'm also applying this only halfway across the lid. I want to do something a little bit different where I create some sort of like negative space. So I'm only going to blend this halfway across the lid so far. This is the part where for that negative space, I just blended a little bit of that concealer just to clean up that dark eyeshadow. I'm going to apply a shimmer on the lid, just the part where I did the half cut crease type of look. And I'm going to start off with a shade called Beauty. It is the lightest silver gray in this palette, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid with that same flat brush. And I applied it with the brush, which was okay, but of course always it applies better with your finger, or you can spray the brush. So I'm going to apply a little bit more with my finger and then go back in to help define that shimmer shade onto the lid with the brush, because you can't get too close to the crease shades with your finger or they'll go right in there. Now I'm going to go in with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk and draw the white liner in the crease only halfway where I applied that lid shade. Like I said, I wanted to do something different where I added like a bunch of stuff to the eyes, so I can at least try out a lot of the shades on my eyes. So this will help me as well because I'm going to set it with a white eyeshadow. I'm going to use the shade Divine that I use on the brow bone to set this white eyeshadow, to set the white liner. And I noticed that it is very powdery. It's not as bright as the more beigey looking ones that I swatched before, that I swatched earlier, that I told you guys is like brighter than this white shade. But it was a little bit more powdery. So I definitely think that this white could have been made a lot better, because I know that I used a white before from another eyeshadow palette that was supposed to be like a Kat Von D dupe, and that white is amazing. Not powdery, very, very pigmented. Like it would make any white liner look extra bright white. I'm going to be going into the Tom Ford Eye Defining Pen. This is 01 Deeper, the black eyeliner, and I'm going to apply wing liner for now. I'm going to go back and finish off the eye look, but sometimes you just gotta keep moving forward, because I'm like, I don't know, the eye look wasn't looking complete to me, so I have to sometimes just keep doing other, you know, continue with my other makeup and then just go back and if I want to apply more eyeshadow, because like I said, I want to use as many shades as possible. Then I'm going to go in with the darkest shade in this palette called Night Falls. Again, it's just a really, really dark gray, not black, but I'm going to apply that on top of the liner, and what this is going to do is give a matte smoky effect, which I love that effect. That's what people do when they do the what is that called? The cat eye type of look, the fox eye. That's the best way to do it, to get that look, really smoked out liner look, is just apply eyeshadow on top of it, and it just makes the liner look so much better. The brush I'm using for this look is the Morphe brush. I don't think this had a number because I think it came in a set, but this is like a flat, round, thick brush. That's what I would say. I don't know like the name of it, but it's like one of those more round shape brushes. I'm gonna go ahead and apply these Ioni lashes in the style Wispy Dramatic Flare. And I don't think I applied them right on one eye. Like, it was looking so much longer. So I ended up cutting them later, but so far I just applied these because they have that more winged out look, which I always go for. And they're flared out, so you can still see the eyeshadow look behind the long lashes. I was going to cut the makeup part out of this, but I was like, since I haven't done my makeup with you guys on camera in a while, let me just keep it in. So I'm going to start with the MAC Fix Plus spray because I love using like a mist before makeup. It really does help make a difference, especially if you have dry skin. So then I'm going in with the Makeup Forever primer. This is the Step 1 primer, and it's supposed to be hydrating. I'm going to blend it out with a dual fiber brush because I just didn't feel like using my hands today, just being lazy. This is also a BH Cosmetics brush. I don't remember which set it was from or if I just bought it separately. I think it was from this. This can't be the silver set. There's no such thing as no silver set. I'm going to use the Oma by Sharon C, the foundation you can get at Walmart. This is the Flawless in Real Life Skin Perfecting Foundation in the shade Honey Honey T4. I'm going to blend it out first with that dual fiber brush, the same one that I used with the primer. And then I'm going to blend out the rest of it with a sponge too, because it was very, very streaky. What could I just say? I don't know why I couldn't just say that. It was very, very streaky. I'm using this e.l.f. sponge from one of their collections. I think it was their summer collection last year. I'm going to use two concealers today. The Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer in the shade 18. And then a little bit of the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer in the shade 2.5W. The Juvia's Place one creases really, really bad, so that's why I always use another concealer on top of this one, but it has really, really good coverage, and it looks really good. It just really creases. And then I'm going to blend that out with that same sponge. And I'm going to go in with a mixture of the two darkest shimmers, Good Fortune and Goddess, and I'm going to apply those on the outer part of where I stopped the half cut crease. I'm just going to apply it right there to add a little bit of dimension to the eye look because, like I said, I wanted to use as many shades as possible, and for some reason I just wasn't feeling how just light that one shimmer shade was, so I thought adding that darker one on the outer part would definitely I could work with that. Then I'm going in with that matte off-white called Remorseless, but like I said, it's brighter than the matte white in the palette. And I'm just going to take this flat, fluffy, small brush. I think this is a Morphe brush, and I'm going to apply it in that negative space. This is going to define that area a little bit more. See, before it was just looking, you know, whatever, but using that brightening shade really helps to add some space between it. I'm going to set under the eyes with the Hard Candy Bake Brighten and Set Loose Finishing Powder. So this is in the shade 1387, and I need a brightening powder because I need a color corrector because, child, I have not been getting any sleep, okay? Them dark circles been coming through. It's like once you get on YouTube, you can't get off through the night, so. I picked up the Sol Bronzer. This is the ColourPop one. Comes in a frosted packaging. I got it in the shade dark. It's nothing new or anything. I just never picked it up because I was like going back and forth with it, and I was like, when I seen it they had free shipping, I was like, just go ahead and get it. Some people said it smells like coconut, but it smells like, if you've ever had the Mayron Paradise paint, that's what it smells like to me. So I'm just going to use this brush. This is my favorite brush to use for cream contour. It came in a Hard Candy palette from, I bought it at the Dollar Tree, but it didn't come from the Dollar Tree. Like, it wasn't made from the Dollar Tree. So I just stick my brush in. Very, very creamy. I like that the seal that they give you is like this hard plastic. So I feel like it will really help to preserve the product. I got it in the shade dark because the shade medium warm on their website looked too orange. This may be a little dark, and we're in the summertime, and you guys know I already get tan, so I got a tan right here, so This is a little dark. This is definitely not going to work in the winter time for me, so I'm gonna try to use it up as much as I can now. So far it's applying very, very creamy. I've been loving that brands have been coming out with product in this smudge pot. I think that it helps to apply the product so much better. Ooh, it definitely blends out. It's very pigmented, so a little goes a long way, which I know that now, so I'll definitely go in with a lighter hand next time around. I like how easy it blends out, because if it didn't, I'd be in trouble. The thing about bronzers and stuff, whether it's cream or powder, I would rather go too dark, because you can work with something too dark, but you can't work with something too light. I'm not mad at the shade of it. Like, it's not too red, not too orange. It's like the perfect tone. Yeah. Really, really good. Now back to our voiceover. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Banana to set the rest of the face. And I'm using this, what brush is this? This is the Japanese brush. It's a powder brush, and it works so good to lightly set the skin, especially if you have dry skin. You don't want a heavy brush or a brush setting it with heavy powder. Like, how was I supposed to explain that? And then for bronzer, powder bronzer, I'm going to use the Juvia's Place Bronze in the shade Medium. I don't know. Oh, that must be French or something. I think I'm just going to use this more red tone down here as blush. Yeah, I can't be bothered to look for something else. Forgot to use a highlighter. Forgot to bring a highlighter. Let me go get my highlighter. Found my highlighter, and this is the KKW Beauty highlighter in the shade Tempting. It's a really pretty light tone, like more of a pinky, I don't know, it's icy tone, something like that. And I'm applying it with my Morphe M501 brush. For lip liner, I'm going to use the MAC Cosmetics one in the shade Spice. I do not know if I've even ever used this lip liner on camera. It's a little bit too light, but I did get it as a gift. I had no control over what shade I got. For lipstick, I want to keep it cool tone, so I'm going to go in with this Stila All Day liquid lipstick in the shade Sogno. It's a little bit more pink than what I was going for, but for lip gloss, even though this is not really a lip gloss, it's more like a high shine lipstick, I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild liquid catsuit in the shade Sin Nudes, and then I'm going to go into this LA Colors white eyeliner. It's not the brightest eyeliner. It's definitely more subtle because it was only $1 and I found it at the Dollar Tree months ago. I showed you guys. So I just apply this in the waterline, and I'm going to kind of drag it in the inner part of the lower lash line as well. The lower waterline. The lower waterline. Is there an upper one too? It's like just the waterline. Since the shade Remorseless, which is that matte off-white, comes out a little bit brighter, I'm going to tap this on the waterline to set that white eyeliner, and this is just going to make sure it pops. And also, because my eyes tear up really, really bad whenever I apply something in a waterline, this is also going to help make sure that eyeliner doesn't fade, because it wasn't bright to begin with. Then I'm going back in with that deepest shade called Night Falls, and I'm going to take this really thin, small angled brush from the BH Cosmetics Rose Gold set, and I'm going to tap that on the lower lash line, and it's going to go right under that white eyeliner and eyeshadow I just applied, and I'm going to just tap it on and apply it like in a line. And then once it gets to the inner part of the lower lash line, I'm going to kind of do like that winged out outer look. You guys are just going to have to see what I'm talking about. But I think I seen this mostly done with drag queens. I think that's how they get their looks to their eyes to look elongated and more defined. So I think that's where I got the idea to do something like this from years ago. Now I'm going back into that matte gray called Revenge, and I'm going to take this really small flat fluffy brush from the Morphe set, and I'm going to run that along the lower lash line, focusing most of the product where I just applied Nightfalls, and that's going to help me blend it. And I wanted to blend it with a gray, of course, to keep this gray. I didn't want to touch any of those taupey shades yet until we're in fall. So that's why I tried to stick with as many grays as possible. For my last shade on the eyes, I'm going to go in with the shimmer one called Fortune. And this is that white, snowy looking eyeshadow. It's so pretty, but it's very, very, very crumbly. So you have to spray your brush with some Fix Plus spray or something because it is very crumbly. It will be all over your face. But it's so pretty because it's very shiny. It gives you a nice pop of color, which is why I'm going to apply it in the waterline. I mean, not the waterline, but the inner corner. I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Excessive Lash Mascara only for the bottom lashes today. And this mascara is great for bottom lashes because the wand is very thin and it helps prevent your mascara from touching your face. So I decided to use the eyeshadow called Mythology. It's a matte type of purpley toned gray, and I'm going to tap that on the lips because I wanted it to look the lips to be even more cool tone. I felt like the other lipstick was pulling too pink against this look. It's okay to use eyeshadow on the lips. I mean, if you can use it on the eyes, you can use it on the lips. I love this eyeshadow palette. I definitely think it's worth it. I have no complaints about Cara Beauty's eyeshadow palettes because I have another one that I bought from Marshall's and it was $5 and really, really good. When it comes to this cream bronzer, it applies so creamy. You don't have to put an oil in it to like really get the product going. So it blends out effortlessly too. You guys see that on the skin? Not patchy at all, and it's very pigmented. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!